Hi, my name is Robert with blindfoldedsite.com. I wanted to talk today about self-realization and what it even is. I've been looking around and there's been different ideas and different perceptions, and really a lot of people are just barely scratching the surface on what it is, and I want to give you the full enchilada. So, self-realization is essentially comes down to a few points. Number one, it all comes down to I am God. But how is that possible, and how do you get that into your subconscious to start affecting your reality? And you have to start realizing a few key points and key factors. Number one is that even referenced by mystics around the world and by the CIA, and which is one of the most well-funded intelligence agencies in the world. They have found that matter essentially doesn't exist. So even when you go down to the simplest forms of matter and you look at the atom, you see the protons and the electrons. All of those are really just energy fields. It's just a field of energy that when you zoom out it looks like a physical thing, but really it's just energy. So even at the most basic and fundamental points of our existence, it's all energy. So we are all energy. That's the first thing you gotta know, is that everything is energy. Matter is just an illusion. And then all points in space and time are one. This is another important fact. This is how remote viewing is possible, and this is how people are able to connect with Source, and a lot of where the idea and revelations that everything is consciousness and everything is spirit and everything is an intelligent force in some degree. And it is actually an intelligent force. And this is where people start to connect and come into God, and there's the quantum physics, and we're realizing that just by observing things we affect reality, and it's like we actually do. And an important thing is that we have to realize this is part of the self-realization. If you're God and you are manifesting like nobody's business, and you bring everything that comes across your mind is going to in some way affect reality. So one of the important teachings of everything is that when you're realizing that you are God, and that the universe and everything is one, and everything is God, what does it all operate on? And it all operates on love. And everything has to work together to even be a thing. If things didn't work together, we wouldn't have anything. Like, the only reason that all of this exists is that everything, literally everything, works together as a cohesive unit. And if it didn't, then there would be problems, and it just wouldn't be what it is, which is perfection. And a lot of people, for their manifestation things, a lot of people don't realize you can and keep your thoughts entrained on perfection, trying to be the best person you can be, living all of the ideals of the divine law, which is love. And when you start working outside of love, that's when things will start to self-destruct. And so when we realize that the best way to build, to create, and to share, and to be compassionate, and to give, is to love, and love creates, and it always builds, and it always creates more. It's the most powerful force in the universe. I mean, we realize when doing meditations and when doing things like this, and we elevate our emotions, we bring the emotion before the environmental cause for the emotion. Traditionally, we can affect our chemistry, our DNA. We can start expressing different genes just by holding ourselves in elevated emotions. It's powerful, and there's a lot more to it. They say in books like, I just finished, there's 5 of these books, which are incredible, highly recommend them. They're probably now my favorite books. I love the autobiography of a yogi, but these are like so detailed and amazing. It's the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East. There's 5 books. And these books are about in 1885, there's this group of American scientists, and they're like, all right, we're going to go over to like India and the surrounding countries, and we're going to find the masters. We're going to find these people who, we've read about, and we've heard stories about people flying and people, manifesting things, and we're going to go and we're going to meet them. And they did. They ended up going out and they met a bunch of people. Like at one point, there's like 60 people walking on, across this 1,000-foot river. There's people flying, teleporting, manifesting food for months on end for their expedition because they didn't bring any food and they didn't have to worry because they were they were being guided by these enlightened people. These people are like hundreds of years old, and part of the reason that they're able to achieve these things is they continually teach like all is one. You have to look at yourself and be like, I am God, all is one, everything is connected. And when you actually accept these things, they say, has not the child what the Father has? We've inherited all of what the Father has, and we are constantly manifesting. And the reason that they're hundreds of years old is they're like, you can, grow towards youth. Like, you don't have to grow towards age. It's just because our minds and our subconscious and everything is constantly telling us and manifesting these things and keeping our minds in imperfection and in age and in deterioration or what have you, that it ends up creating that in our bodies. And a lot of the ways they talked about doing all these healings, and they talked about Jesus's teachings and how Jesus was really like the Christ within. He's like, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about like the God in all of us. He's like walking around doing these miracles, and he's like, I'm trying to show you that this is what you are capable of. And a lot of the people started worshiping him, and then that's when he realized he had to leave, and he could feel something bigger coming and the impact he was going to have. But according to these books, man, these guys ended up traveling, hanging out with Jesus. Like, they were traveling for years over with these people, and they learned a lot. And they have a lot of incredible stories. And I'm pretty sure they're all true. Like, after reading all these and after, listening to them, I'll link the audiobooks in the description. There's Grace Butler, who reads them on YouTube. She does an amazing job. And I don't know, it's, I'm looking at the Vedic scriptures right now, the Upanishads, and it's saying the same thing. Like, they're all coming, and I'm going to be looking over all these older scriptures. I want to go through all the religious texts, but it seems to be the same message. Like, we are essentially nonstop manifesting, and when we realize and decide on something, we can start manifesting that. So if we keep our minds on love, kindness, giving, serving, being all, being love, being God, and following, the divine law, which is love, then we can embody what we worship. We become what we focus on. But I guess there's a few keys on manifestation, on what you're truly capable of, and even what self-realization is, because a lot of people are kind of confused and have the wrong idea on what self-realization is. So I want to just clear that up, and let's start changing the world and affecting as many people as we can, because you are capable of so much more than you believe. I've got some incredible courses that will help you learn some energy work that will help you develop your intuition. My website is called blindfoldedsight.com. If you use coupon code, number 25 and then OFF, 25 off, you can get $25 off, and that means a second course for free. That's 3 hours of learning for absolutely nothing. And I encourage you to take this path, because truly you're capable of so much, and if we find balance and we're able to better ourselves, we can better everything in the world with us. So it starts with you. Be the change you want to see in the world. And read these books. And thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you around. Take care.